it's probably time to go over to DonorScope. DonorScope.com. I'm going to jump in here. It's really easy. We will log in. You put in your first name. You want to do this with me. Your last name. Your email address. And the organization that you're with. And at the beginning and the end of the registration process. And of course, once you've done that, that will take you to the start page. And you'll notice that those three functions of DonorScope, well, we select prospects, so we download those net worth donors whose net worth exceeds $1 million, or we append prospects, we add that wealth information to each name in your existing file. The first thing we want to do at DonorScope is select or download prospects. And this way you can find out what individuals of net worth actually live and give in your community. We have on the line with us today Amy Vance. Amy's a longtime friend of Development Systems International. She's been part of our firm for almost as long as I have been, 20 years. And with that being said, she is also the Director of Development at Nashville Children's Theater. In a few minutes, Amy is going to share with you how she used this data at Nashville Children's Theater to secure new gifts. And with that being said, we decided that we would actually choose Nashville to do that radius search on to identify new philanthropists. John, well, you know, Amy, what is the zip code for the Nashville Children's Theater there in Nashville, Tennessee?
37205.
37205. And I think we will simply do a 30-mile radius. I know that Nashville Children's Theater serves a greater area than that, but for the sake of this query, let's use 30. There aren't any state lines near Nashville within 30 miles, if I recall. So let's continue to step 2. And let's just start with, we're going to look at a few different queries. Let's just start with net worth. Let's just select individuals who live there. And is there more than one county? Is it Franklin County? Is there more than one county there in Nashville?
No, just Davidson. You might want to go to Davidson and Williamson were probably the two counties.
Well, what's interesting is I think that 30-mile radius will capture portions of that. So let's choose a net worth of $1 million or more, and let's do a first gift count. We're thinking here. We're thinking. Now, many of you would be surprised, wouldn't you? What is the what's the size of the Nashville region, the area there? Not just the city proper, Amy, but the size of Nashville.
Oh goodness, that's a good question. Probably close to 1 million.
With that being said, we've identified 34,000 individuals whose net worth is $1 million or more, and let's see, it's just a little bit more than 1 million. John, why don't you look up the for us? If you look up the population of Nashville. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, friends. I'm also going to go to household income and say, not only do I want to know individuals whose net worth is $1 million or more, but let's do a current household income of $250,000. And that brought our file down from 35,000 to something that's probably a little bit more manageable for the sake of raising major gifts. That's 9,467. But if we decided we even wanted to tear that down just a little bit more, we could put in home value. And we could, let's just say $500,000 home's enough. Yeah, right there, was it 450,000 enough? Let's get the count. So there you go. These are individuals who have demonstrated or indicated that they've given philanthropically in the last 12 months. They live within a 30-mile radius of Nashville, Tennessee, and they have a net worth of $1 million or more. They have an estimated household income annually of $250,000 or more, and they're living in a home that's about $500,000. Oh, you know, what's interesting is we only selected the $250,000 range on the homes. What if we selected all the homes? Let's see if that number increases. This is $450,000 and up. Right there, that's 7,894 names. You know, friends, if you're going to raise major gifts, you got to start somewhere. And I think we're getting to take a peek inside the wealth set here in Nashville. What you'll end up is receiving the contact information, the first name, last name, address, and city, state, and zip of this DonorScope set that we just queried. We are now building our campaign. We've gone over to the experience side of the house, who supplies us this data, and we're building our list. And we're about to find out what the normal retail price would be. This is not the actual price that you'll pay, but in this case, it was $828 retail. Let's add it to cart. We're adding to cart. And when we do that, your DonorScope discount is applied of 20%, available to you today if you're able to make a purchase to download. And let's see, it looks like I logged in a little bit earlier. Nope. For some reason, that's showing 2 entries there. I'm removing one. So the total to download about 7,500 names of individuals who live within a 30-mile radius of Nashville, Tennessee, who have given charitably in the last 12 months, whose net worth is $1 million or more, who are living in a home of $500,000 or more, whose household income is $250,000 or more, to receive their full contact information with the DonorScope discount made possible by Experian is $663. So that makes a little bit of sense. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back to DonorScope. I thought I'd just take a moment and show you what it looks like after you made your purchase so that you can see what your file will look like. There we go. Scrolling down. There you can see we did a search. And here's the DonorScope download list that you received. It shows first name, last name, address, city, state, and zip. And then there's a legend. You'll see the legend underneath here for these different letters and numbers, what they actually mean. But you'll notice that we know if they're in a single-family dwelling or an apartment. We know what their household income is in that particular case. We understand what their home value is in that particular case. And we also understand what their net worth is. So that's the first function of DonorScope, what it really looks like to download brand new prospects that aren't yet in your universe.
Jimmy, by the way, Amy, you were right. As in many cases, the city versus the metropolitan area is larger, but you're looking at about 1.5 million people if you actually look at the census for the Nashville area. So that number that we're seeing there in that radius out from that particular zip code is a population of about 1.5 million. I'm also curious about, if you've got a moment, Jimmy, to talk about and show folks what the upload file actually looks like and the information that Experian can append to an existing file.
John, thanks for that. Let's go to append prospects. Now, what we just took a moment to show you was how we download names that are not yet in your universe. What does it look like to upload names that are already in your file? Well, all you would do is, whatever donor management system you're using, you would end up creating an Excel spreadsheet file or a .csv file, and you would provide the first name, the last name, the address, the city, the state, and the zip. And you would also put in your donor record, you know, that unique identifier that may be associated with each record in your donor management system. And pretty universally, all donor management systems, you can simply export the first name, last name, address, city, state, and zip, and the record number. If you did that to Excel or to a CSV, you'd then come to this page, and you would upload your file. And here's what will happen. In no longer than 24 hours, but usually in much less time, usually in the same day or afternoon that you do it, DonorScope and Experian will send back to you your original file with the net worth values appended to each record. So here is a sample of the DonorScope Wealth Append return. You'll notice first there's the unique record. Second is the zip code, their address, the city, state, the last name of the individual, the first name. And here we have the net worth range and the associated code. And actually, since we've put up this particular piece of art to show you what the file looks like, we're adding many more. So net worth, home value, household income, dwelling type. There'll even be more data sets appended to your existing file. I have never in my history of raising funds for nonprofit organizations and ministries, I've never found an organization that wasn't startled by the potential that was already in their existing file. And DonorScope provides you to find out a way that you can afford, who knows, supports you, loves you, is already involved with you, who also has the potential to share a major gift. So the first thing that DonorScope does is we upload files, we download new donors, don't we? The second thing that we do is we append financial net worth. But the third thing we do at DonorScope is we compile prospects. There's all sorts of lists in your community that you can get access to. And as a member of DonorScope and as a user of it, there's this wonderful training that really equips you to understand who are the members of Women in Philanthropy in your particular community. Who are those individuals that are serving at Rotary in lead positions? Who are the serving on the board of the Museum Foundation? The list goes on and on. So this is a training, a very significant training, and also we're able to put together all of the different resources that are online where you can, well, do just that, prospect research. So let's just review one last time very quickly. At DonorScope, we have three functions. We download the names of individuals whose net worth is $1 million or more, their names and contact information. We take your existing file and we append the net worth of publicly held wealth information to each record in your file. And finally, we have trainings on how you can compile those millionaire philanthropists, those givers that are in your community. So let's go back over to DonorScope.
Jimmy, that was a great overview. You know, before we move on, I want to let everyone know who's on our webinar today that a little later on, we're going to talk about a special offer for a Major Gifts Ramp Up Startup Kit to show you how to use this information and actually apply